So, for the last couple months, I've been on the fence about what to do regarding Captain Marvel. From the very beginning, I have to confess, the trailers didn't really grab me. I never said anything about it because when the first trailer dropped, that was during this channel's superhero embargo. But even so, in private conversations with other people, I still expressed the feeling that something just wasn't working about it for me. Which is weird, because I had yet to see a Marvel trailer up to that point that didn't have me at least intrigued. I mean, every other movie, whether I wound up ranking it high or low on my list, I still was interested by the trailer. But not with Captain Marvel. Something about it was off. And every subsequent advertisement since then didn't really change that perception. The best I could ever come to saying what it was that didn't feel right was Brie Larson herself. Something about her performance was just off. It seemed like she wasn't really invested the way other actors in the MCU have been. Which, I know it was just trailers, we were only seeing snippets of what she was doing, but even compared to her co-stars, and even compared to other trailers where we've seen the other actors performing, she just didn't seem like she was really invested. That's the best way I can put it. She seemed like she was just kind of phoning it in. Which, you know, maybe they just didn't pick the best clips of her to put in the trailers. So, at first, I was thinking, probably no issue in going to see it and giving my honest opinion the way things have always gone. Then all the controversy started. If you've gone anywhere near the internet in these past couple of months, you know what's going on. Captain Marvel has become the center of the biggest controversy in film since Ghostbusters 2016, really, because it's almost an exact repeat of that scenario. We apparently have learned nothing in the 3 years that have passed. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me who started it. All I know is that it happened. And now Captain Marvel is a movie you can't just go and see. Whether or not you see it means you're somehow making a statement. So where does that leave me? I've been trying to figure out for the longest time what to do. I was already on the fence about seeing it, but the controversy wasn't making that decision of whether or not I should see it any easier. I was going back and forth, like, well, Brie Larson has said things that make it seem like she doesn't want people like me there, so maybe I shouldn't go. Then again, my audience has probably some sort of expectation that I will go and give a review of it, so I probably should give them something. But at the same time, I never really was all that thrilled about going to see it in the first place. But then again, how am I going to know whether it's good or bad unless I do see it? It's been this constant back and forth. I just wasn't entirely sure how to properly decide what to do. I considered putting it out there and letting my audience decide. I considered flipping a coin. Basically, I was just trying to decide, but it eventually occurred to me that I had already made the decision a while ago. I just needed to remember what fueled that decision in the first place. For those of you just joining us, here's a quick refresher. The reason there was a superhero embargo on this channel was because, despite not wanting to get involved, the controversies surrounding the modern state of the comic book industry and the politicizing of the superhero genre was something I kept finding myself dragged into. Through no real... I wasn't actually trying to look for trouble. I would just say something as innocent as, What a nice thought that Black Panther is a hero that can be for everyone, and suddenly I'm accused of being a white supremacist, or I may as well have been. So it eventually just got to a point where I thought, you know what? I don't want any part of this insanity anymore, and so I just cut myself off entirely from it. I came back to the genre in December. You can follow the links to the video if you want. But I made the declaration that now that I'm back with doing superhero stuff, I wasn't going to do anything that would perpetuate all of the modern controversies. I'd still review, like, new releases of superhero movies and whatnot, but I wasn't going to be focusing on whether or not such and such a character is a hyper-politicized SJW or not. I was just going to go with the idea of maybe I'll focus more on the way things used to be in the superhero genre and try to avoid all of the negativity. I mean, not that I would be completely positive and happy-go-lucky about everything, but I wasn't going to perpetuate the current insanity. And the thing is, that's impossible to do with Captain Marvel now. Captain Marvel has become the center of a controversy. You cannot, at this current point in time, remove the controversy from the movie and just see it as a film in its own right. Whether or not you go and see it, and whether or not you like it or hate it, is somehow going to be viewed as you taking sides, no matter how much you try not to take sides. Which, I realize the decision I'm about to announce is not necessarily going to avoid that, but like I said, at this point it is unavoidable. I've ultimately decided that if I'm going to stay true to that idea of avoiding the modern controversies and not perpetuating the current back and forth madness, then I can't see Captain Marvel. At least not now. Maybe later on when things have cooled off and people have a bit of perspective to say, boy, I can't believe we got so worked up over something like that. Then maybe I'll finally give it a watch and share my thoughts on it. But for right now, right when we're in the heat of it, I'm just not going to do it. Now, some of you may say that's me chickening out. If you choose to think that, okay. Some of you may think that it's me taking the best possible course that I can. And if you think that, that's okay. I'm just making this decision based on the statement I made previously, which is not to be part of the madness. And since Captain Marvel is currently at the heart of the madness, I can't do it. Now, the other Captain Marvel, or at least the one who used to be called Captain Marvel before he was called Shazam, that I'll probably see. That looks much better, if you ask me. I've liked the trailers for that one so far, so it's probably going to be good. I don't know. I'll let you know when I actually see it. But for Captain Marvel, well, my mind is made up. I'm not doing this because I'm joining some sort of grand boycott to try and send Marvel a message or anything. If anything, my message is for the comic book fandom as a whole. It always has been, even with the embargo. It's that the madness isn't helping anything. If anything, all it does is drive people away. So, for now, I'm not going to see Captain Marvel. I'm not going to review Captain Marvel. I'm not going to make any statements on it other than this video. And maybe that'll change in the future, again, once things have kind of died down regarding it. But for now, just gonna leave it be, focus on other things. So, don't expect a review of it this weekend. I might review something else this weekend. You never know, there are other things happening after all. But it just won't be Captain Marvel that I'll be reviewing. So, Whatever you guys choose to do regarding Captain Marvel, that's your own choice. And I have made mine. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it as well as subscribe to the channel for more content of a similar nature. Also, check the description for links to our Twitter, DeviantArt, and Patreon pages, as well as the Amazon link for the novel Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, penned by yours truly. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.